Welcome to You've Changed, a podcast where I talk to people in the entertainment industry about moments in their life that have changed them. Today, I have the fabulous, amazing, talented actress, comedian, musician, teacher, lover, hater, barista, Abi Carter-Simpson. Yay! I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm absolutely buzzing. Thank you. Lovely.
When did we first meet each other? Almost 5 years ago. Was it during Funny Women?
Funny. No, it was before. Must have been before that.
What was that?
I think. Well, 2017. Yeah, 5 years ago. 2017, I'd say.
2019. That's when I moved over here.
Okay, 2019.
Yeah. So about 4.5 years ago ish.
Yeah.
But probably right after I moved over here.
No.
I can't believe that I've been in this country I've made it to almost 5 years. It's like, just went by like that.
And I also just said 2017, 5 years ago. That's actually 6 years ago. So
I know, and you're a teacher and you can't do math. So I was like, oh my God. Are we in America? Because the education system over here is failing.
Sorry, guys.
What is happening? It's fall, it's back to school. How are you feeling being back to school?
Oh my goodness, it's good. I was talking recently. I've gone part-time, so I teach music now. So it's like the world is sort of like
I love
back
that.
around.
Yeah.
Because I trained in musical theatre. So I did like all singing, acting, dancing, that kind of thing when I became like sort of left school. And now so I teach it 3 days a week. And do you know what? I love it. It's good.
Aww. What age are you teaching?
I teach from 5 to 11.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's good. And the thing is, like, there's like a bit of a preconception that like I've been a teacher for ages. Like,
I thought you had.
No.
How long have you been a teacher for?
I became a teacher during COVID.
Wait, what? I thought you were a teacher when I met you.
No. Oh. I know this is the thing because everyone thinks, oh, she's been doing this for years. So basically, I was acting and everything.
Yeah.
For like 10 years before the pandemic, and also doing lots of other jobs. Like I was working in hospitality. I had a job in quite a big restaurant in central London. So I was like doing all of that.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and I literally went from, like many people, I went from having a normal life to sat on the couch in my dressing gown being like, I've no income.
So
nothing.
You started teaching during the pandemic.
So I started working as a teaching assistant.
Right.
During the pandemic.
So over Zoom and stuff.
No, it was when the schools started opening in September.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I had like most of the day.
I was like, that would be a very hard way to start teaching. Would be over Zoom.
Well, the thing is, it was a lovely thing for me, to be honest, because I didn't know what to do. I'd done a bit of like acting, teaching and stuff when I was younger, and then I was sort of like working out I was applying for jobs. I couldn't get a job anywhere. No supermarket, nothing, literally, and I was trying everything.
Yeah.
And then I was looking at schools. And there was just an agency and they said, do you want to do teaching assistant? So I was like, well, yeah, I'll give it a go. And for me, I found COVID really different. I really struggled with it.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think you're alone in that. I mean, you're like, in my humble opinion, COVID was hard. You and billions of other people.
I had a really tough time.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys know this, but COVID was actually really hard as a white woman.
It was really difficult.
Yeah.
But I've spoken to a few people. They were like, yeah, I quite enjoyed the like break. And
some
that kind
people
of thing.
enjoyed the break. I did not at all.
I had
at all.
an awful time. And so I suffered quite bad anxiety through it, like as a lot of people did. And so working in schools, especially with younger children, you weren't allowed to like social distance or wear masks.
Right,
or something. You could if you really wanted to, but it was obviously because they were so young that they were like, well, we'd prefer if you didn't wear one. So it was sort of as soon as you went into the school gates, it was like COVID didn't exist.
Oh, I love that.
Do you know what I mean? So it was
little
just
magical
like,
Narnia in
there.
there.
No COVID. Like,
but I also heard that what it's going to do, and it's going to be hard for the kids who are at a developmental age when everyone was wearing masks for a long time. It's going to be harder for those kids to recognize facial expressions. And emotions, because so much emotions are conveyed through your face, and when half your face is covered up and they're seeing strangers, they're not getting the same connection. Because often little kids in like a grocery store, you smile at them, but they're not getting that same connection with people. So it's saying it's delaying certain developments.
Honestly, I think there's so much stuff that children have missed out on during COVID that they're struggling with as well. It's like even like COVID babies who weren't able to like sort of be around other children and like, sort of be able to interact and all that kind of stuff. It takes them a lot longer, which I guess is the reason why there's a massive rise in like sort of mental health with younger generations. But so I started doing TA stuff, and then they said the school I was at were like, would you like to train as a teacher?
I love that.
And I was like, yeah, I would. So
That's
I did.
So nice.
Yeah, so I did one year as a class teacher, which was last year.
Yeah.
And then
How was that? That was just like full curriculum class teacher.
Year 6, sat.
Year 6.
Straight in. I hadn't done a maths.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't. I could not.
I was 16. Do you know what I mean?
I could not.
But it was great. I think I'm 31 now, and I think it happened at a point where I loved the challenge.
Yeah.
I think when I was younger, in my 20s and stuff, I was like, well, even going to like uni or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, I could read that book. Also, I don't need to. I don't want to read the book. Whereas now, I was like, yes. Tell me how to do the math stuff. Tell me how to write properly. And I genuinely believe like it's helped my comedy, it's helped my writing, everything by being around that, because you are learning something new. And there's a funny thing as well. People think that teachers just know everything.
Oh no, I don't. Does anyone actually think that?
But it's like, but when
no one knows everything.
In primary school, you have to teach all lessons.
Right. Yeah.
It's not just maths. But it's like, no, you learn what it is.
That little bit you're teaching, of course.
Like, I know everything about history. I can smash out the Victorians in year 6 about it, you know.
You just keep watching the Queen and pausing it and be like,
and Oliver the musical.
This is what's happening. Yeah.
But yeah, so I loved it. And then I did that for a year, and then this year I was like, right, life's getting a bit too busy, so I'm teaching music, so it's a little bit.
I love this. Your kids must love you.
We have fun.
Do they freak out that you were on TV? Like,
yeah, so it was really sweet actually, because my class and the rest of the year 6s, they were in my semi-final. The opening is where I'm like singing in a school.
Yeah,
that's my school. That's all the kids.
Oh, I always assume those are like actors.
No,
those are like fake acting kids. I love that.
And it was great. So when we did the actual filming day, I got heckled by a boy in my class like super badly. I was doing it in front of all the cameras, and I absolutely just failed. I couldn't sing along with myself, and I just shouted out. He was like, "Not your best, miss." I was like, "Oh, great, thank you so much."
Oh my gosh!
But he was, it was great. So they absolutely loved it. They found it wild. And then it's pretty much forgotten about.
Just forgotten about, just as easy as that.
No, I think it's good. It's like sort of showing. I think music is really important.
Oh my gosh, it's so important. My niece is so into music. Like her teachers always say, I mean, she's only 3, but her teachers at her like little nursery that she goes to always say she sings all day long. And I really want to cultivate that in her. Like we have a little instrument. She has a little piano. She has a bunch of little like cymbals and musical stuff. And she loves singing. And I just know she has an ear for music.
Yeah.
So I really want to get her started into that, because she's just loving it so much. And I think it's so good for kids to do that. Like I grew up playing a bunch of different musical instruments. I'm not very good now. I can play a little bit of piano still, but I'm not a musical comedian. I'm not like you. I'm not one of the fancy ones with a built-in applause break. That's what I get jealous of.
Hate.
It's the built-in applause break. I go, I earn those with words. That's a lot harder to get an applause break with words. You just stopped the song and people went, oh, that's the cue. We have to clap now. And I'm always like, ugh.
I have to stay in time with the beat.
Oh, boo-hoo. So do I when I'm singing in the shower.
My favorite thing when I walk in with a ukulele and I just see like one person.
You're a woman and with a ukulele.
Oh, shock. A blonde woman with a ukulele.
There's a brief period of time where I was like, should I learn how to play the ukulele? Honestly, I almost did it during the pandemic. I almost started playing the ukulele. But then I was like, no, I should get roller skates. And then I started watercolor painting. My ADHD was not great during the pandemic.
The reason I learned ukulele is because I was like, I want to be a musical comedian but with a guitar, because I think that's sick.
But then it's like too cumbersome to like take around.
And it's also too hard to play. To be honest. It's too hard to play.
But isn't the ukulele just a mini guitar?
No.
Isn't it pretty well the same? Or no?
So it's the easiest. It's the easiest instrument to
learn.
Wait,
do I need to learn the ukulele?
A C is just one finger and one string.
Oh, do I need to do that?
I'm really playing myself down here.
No, yes, you're a very skilled musician. You can do loads of stuff.
Watch me shred a ukulele.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like ukulele artists you like watch and look up to and stuff? Or are you like, no, you're not really like in the uke scene? Is it a uke scene? Is that what it's called?
No, I'm not in. I wouldn't say I'm in.
There's that Hawaiian guy who's like super, super famous.
That's literally the only song.
That's the only guy I know. No. But then there's the other guy who I don't know, is again, I think another Hawaiian guy. I think he did X Factor in the
Steve
US.
Martin plays the banjo.
He plays the banjo.
And I think that's so sick.
I think it's sick too. Yeah.
I am going to just pretend that I was inspired by Steve Martin. That's the reason why I picked up the ukulele.
So why did you do it? Like, what was the original inspiration?
So it was an inspiration.
Well, you wanted to play the guitar and it was too hard.
Yeah. So when I went to drama school, I studied musical theatre. And so I spent like years and years. All I wanted to do when I was younger was just be on the West End.
Just cool. Oh, yeah. Have you been on the West End?
I have in my own way.
Like in the audience? Because I have as well.
No, I've been on a West End stage, yeah. So
okay.
I did a really fantastic.
I love that you went like this.
Called
as you were doing it.
It's called Aliens Have Underpants. So it's for the under fives at 10 o'clock in the morning. But it was at the Dominion Theatre.
That's
and it was one of the best jobs I've ever done. I got to travel the world. It was a fun show. So yeah, it was really cool. But that was like years and years ago. And then actually this year, like when I did BGT, the audition was at the Palladium.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I was sort of like stood backstage, and
that's pretty overwhelming.
Without being like emotional and sort of like, I was like, okay, Abs, like in your own little way, you've done it.
Yeah, I think so.
Like you're standing on, this is what you used to like dream of doing. Now you're doing it, and you're doing it with your own fantastic musical comedy.
It is funny to think about those moments where, like, not that long ago, I remember like begging people for an unpaid 5-minute spot somewhere, and now sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to take this train here because I'm like gigging all weekend for this big club, and I'm like, I used to to have the opportunity to do this for work, to be getting paid to go and do this 100%. Is crazy, and I need to constantly check myself on that because like it wasn't that long ago where I was literally begging people just like give me 5 minutes of stage time. I will take no money for it. Like just please let me on your stage. But so I get the emotions. I've been like, oh my god, yes, the Soho Theatre was that for me. I did my hour show at Soho Theatre, and I was able to sell it out for a couple nights in the spring. And to me, that was just such like a. Well, I remember before I moved to London, I was like, if I got to perform at the Soho Theatre on that stage, it's not the biggest stage in the world, but to me, it's like iconic.
100%.
And it means a lot to me.
Do you not find as well, when these things happen, after it happens as well, you're like,
life sucks.
That's what I find as well. And I also think
the come down.
I think in terms of performing and comedy and acting and everything, it's always like you're only as good as sort of like
your last
your last job, and then as soon as it's over, like I've got so many little pockets of like beautiful memories that I've had from acting, but when they're over, because my career was quite like sporadic, I would do a job and then I'd have a chunk of time off where I'd do like bartending or serving or whatever, or teaching, and then I'd go back to it. I'd find it really difficult. Like if there was a break, now I'm doing it like you said. Like now I'm doing it like consistently, which is great. So you can say, oh, I do this and I do that.
Yeah.
But there are times when you're like, well, I can't really say I'm an actor because I'm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's as you're making their coffee and stuff.
Flat white. So like.
Do you know what I just saw on TikTok today? There's a teacher who teaches. I don't know what grade she teaches, but she has a whole thing where people compete, and for like, I guess for being like polite points or whatever it is, they become the class barista for that week or that month or whatever. So she has a Keurig machine, a little refrigerator with a bunch of different milks, some teas, whatever. And the rule is any of the teachers or adults who work in the building can come in at any time. And even if the lesson's on, the class barista can get up, put his little apron on, and go make a coffee or a drink. So it's a very special privilege. And people in the comments are like, well, what do the parents think? She's like, I'm glad you answered that. I have parent-teacher conferences. And they're like, what do I need to do to get my kid as the barista?
Oh,
my kid wants to be the barista. Because it's seen as this like prestigious thing. And when they're doing the lesson, the rule is you can get up and go make them a drink. And it's like they're pressing the thing in the Keurig, and it's like not crazy. But then she's like, hi, trick, we literally get all our coffees made for us by these kids. Like, that's genius.
I would say, right, having been a teacher, I can't even stand it if like I get stressed out if I see someone like flicking a pen in the corner. I would not be able to concentrate. Standing up and down every 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Flat white. Latte.
Yeah. Latte coming up.
And where are they getting the money for this as well? We can't even get glue sticks.
Yeah, I mean that I don't know. That is another crazy thing about teaching. I have loads of friends who are like teachers or in administration and stuff back home in Canada, and they were saying like they're like all of those like. I don't know how exactly it works here, but I know it's probably a similar situation to Canada. But like think of back in elementary school and primary school, all of those like alphabets on the wall, the pictures, the charts, everything. Your teacher personally bought those. The books. The reason your teachers were so insane about like return the books, because it was their money. And I just assumed like that to me is wild that like we're not giving teachers the stuff to just like do their jobs. Like my sister who's a nurse, the nurses for charting need to provide their own pens.
Stop.
Is that not insane?
Yeah, I mean that's the you can sort of decorate your class. I mean I didn't really.
You're like, welcome to hell, kids.
It's just me in an empty room.
Yeah.
No, you can sort of do all like the bunting. If you want to, but actually, it can be.
Are you going to say studies have shown that kids are better in prisons?
No, it can be quite stressful on the brain if there's too much going on.
No, I like that. I thrive in chaos.
Oh, as do I.
Yeah.
As do I.
That's my favorite. If like Disneyland and everything's everywhere, I'm like, I'm like very much like that. I get distracted by everything, but I need it. But now it's set me up to like I can't function. If I'm writing like a script or something, I need to usually have like my phone propped up here playing a TV show on Netflix.
Yeah.
Or like my headphones in listening to music plus this, and I like to be in like workspace with people. I need like chaos.
I have to have something. If I don't have like a really trashy TV show on 24/7 in the background, like Love After Lockup.
What's Love After Lockup?
Oh my god, have you not watched?
No.
It's so good.
I can imagine what it is based on the title.
It's basically just a program where.
What channel is it on?
It's on Discovery, I think.
Love.
Which is great for like 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah.
It's on the same vein, and it's basically people outside meeting people who are in prison, and then they fall in love, and it's like their life.
You know, everyone needs love.
Everyone needs love, and it's brilliant.
Oh my gosh, Love After Lockup.
Yeah,
love this. I love love shows. We were talking about, me and Lucas were talking about that before, but I love shows like I watch Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, all that stuff. Such a hot mess.
Yeah,
I love it.
I do like Married at First Sight. I find them too long now, though. It's literally like watching a movie.
Yeah, but I like it because that's my show I put on. Like, I put it on this morning as I'm, like, doing my makeup. So I have it on. It's like if I walk out of the room and I'm doing something, and then I come back in, I'm doing my makeup, or I go get dressed, and I go, like, brush my teeth and come back in.
Yes,
I'm not, like, I don't have to be constantly there. When I come home late at night from a gig, I don't want to think. No. I don't want to have to watch a show where I'm, like, actually paying attention to it. So, like, Love Island, Love is Blind, all that kind of stuff, I just could like, have on, and then I'm, like, making dinner and, like, that. It's, like, the half pay attention shows. That's what I like.
I love it. I am like that, but I do also. I don't know why, but I do like watching prison documentaries. I don't know why. So that's
there's a really good podcast called, what is it called? I think it's Earwolf. No, what is it called? Or is it done by Earwolf? It's basically about people. There's San Quentin is a maximum state like penitentiary in the U.S. in California, and it is one of like the hardest prisons in America. And there's a guy it was him and his social worker. They did a podcast together, and it was fascinating because each episode they tackled different topics. So it was like one was about visitations, and they interviewed people, and they was like, the guy was like, I'm having my mother visit me for the first time in 12 years. I haven't hugged a human or touched another human in 12 years. So he was practicing like hugging himself, he said, but then he got too nervous and he didn't hug her, and he was mad that he didn't hug her. And what they do, because there's only like 2 irons for all of them, but they want to have their pants nice and pressed, so they get them wet and then they lay them between their mattress and like the bed frame to flatten them out and be all nice and presentable for their families. But it's amazing, and it's like beautiful, and it's really interesting.
I think that's
to hear that. Like I love that stuff. I think it's really
that's
interesting.
The thing. I find all that very interesting, because I do think sometimes like we're like, it's 2023. The world has progressed in so many different ways. Yeah. And then you look at something like the prison system, and it just seems like incredibly archaic.
Yeah, it is.
I know that they've done bad things, but they're like the fact that they're just, I don't know.
But there's people still in prison for crimes that are no longer criminal activities. Like they could be put in jail in a state where now marijuana is legal, and they had a little bit of marijuana on them in the 80s, and now they have a 30-year sentence they're doing. Like that's craziness.
And I think that's why I find it so interesting, because you just see these people, and you do see also you see people who have massively reformed and they are literally, I have changed, I have got myself degrees, I am ready to go. I don't, unless it's something abhorrent, obviously you could have argument for ages,
of course,
but sort of it's, I don't know, I find it really interesting to just see the types of people and how they could be changed. I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting.
It's a good way to segue to changing. Changing.
What changed my life?
What changed your life? So what is something in your life that changed you? What's a thing or a moment? And it can be whatever you want it to be, or a time in your life or an event that happened to you.
Yeah, I would say, actually, I was just thinking about this. I would say a time in my life that changed me was when I decided in my mid-20s to stop caring about, to a certain degree, about the way I looked in terms of trying to be an actor.
Oh, okay. So explain that to me.
When I was thinking about this book, I was like, I need to talk about it because it's just something that I think probably a lot of people might also connect with it, but also it's just something that I think about quite a lot.
Yeah.
Now I'm 30. I feel good. Like
the 30s are the best. I feel like when I turned 30, I finally was like, oh, this is who I am. When I was in my 20s, I was an absolute garbage human. I was the type of person that now I'd be like, ugh, get out of my face. You're so annoying.
Disgusting.
You're disgusting. Put down the white wine. Stop. You're so annoying. And I'd be like, I'm funny. Everyone wants to hear this. Well, now I go on stage and tell everyone I'm funny.
I'm just crazy loose.
Yeah. People are just jealous. I'm not loud. I'm just hilarious, and they're lucky to hear it. I mean, now I get paid to do that, but like people actually pay to hear it. It's not people on the fucking bus or something like that. But I was awful in my 20s. But in your 30s, you just start going like, oh, this is who I am. I have opinions. I was so swayed by people in my 20s. Like they would say something like, yeah, I think that. And someone would be like, no, I think that. And I'm like, no, yeah.
I was a mess. I let people treat me the way they wanted to treat me. I would never stand up myself. Now I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good. You know what? I'm good. I don't need
good does that feel?
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, so I basically when I that had tumbleweed in my brain.
I get you. I get it where like my thoughts go too fast for my mouth. And then I'm like, blah, 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 because my brain is already on like the 10th step away. I do that all the time.
I did that. I do that teaching so much as well. It's like I've got so much to say and I get really, really excited.
Yeah.
Imagine me.
Same.
Like, oh, okay, this is amazing. And then you can see the kids are like,
yeah.
I'm like, I have to stop now. Okay.
I do that, and then like somebody I'm with will be like, "Do you want to bring me into the conversation when it started and not where you're at now?" Because you're like, "How did we get from here to here?" I'm like, "Well, this leads to this, to this, to this, to this, to this." So it's connected. And like, but we were talking about dogs, and now you're talking about like vacation in Hawaii. I'm like, yeah. Do you not see the connection? Are you dumb? Keep up, dumb. Tumbleweeds, I get you.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
My tumbleweeds are like carnival rides, though. It's less tumbleweeds and more like just chaos. Yeah. And glitter. Loads of glitter in there.
I love it. We've gone on a tangent. What was I talking about?
You were talking about your change and how it relates to acting.
Yes. Okay, so when I left drama school, like I said, that was my dream. I just wanted to be on a West End stage, and it never happened for me.
It hasn't happened yet.
No, it hasn't happened yet, and I would actually love to do it. So,
if any of the two people that are listening have a connect, you never know.
You never know
who's listening.
You never know. So when I left, I sort of had like a false sense of security of what it was going to be like because I really thrived at drama school. Yes. I remember like we did our showcase.
I think a lot of kids who go to drama school peak at drama school. In fact,
so true. What? You don't want to see me tap? No. You don't want to see me tap?
No, ma'am. You can go hang out in Leicester Square with a hat out. Like that's okay. The tourists will see you tap.
Actually, musical theatre, but when I left, I was like, yeah, I really, really want to see this. And so I was going to loads of auditions, and it was just for me personally. It was just like it was brutal. Yeah. Like I suffer with something called polycystic ovary syndrome. So
me too.
Yeah, high five.
Hey, sister.
Cystic sisters. And again, that's something that no one really knows anything about. Yeah. No one talks about it, and it's a bit of a like taboo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This is with the lady bit.
Yeah, and so I couldn't lose weight.
Yeah.
And I was at drama school, and I was exercising, like, and anyone with PCOS knows that you can exercise and exercise and exercise, but if you're doing the wrong stuff or something's not working, you could literally, nothing will budge. Yeah. So I couldn't lose any weight, and then I left drama school, and I signed with an agent, and just things that were said to me in passing consistently made me feel awful, like.
In this industry, no.
Exactly. And
it's literally awful.
But now I feel like we're moving to a better place of inclusion, and it doesn't matter to a certain degree. To a certain degree. I know there's a lot more work to do, but it made me feel awful, and it would just be things like, oh, you've put on weight since the last time I saw you, or you're up for this part, and it would literally just be like, I was up for the part in Fame called Mabel. Do you know the show?
I know of it, but not really.
It's like one of the worst shows in the history of the world. I don't know why I was auditioning for it, but it was Mabel in Fame, and she's basically she wants to be a dancer, right? And she her teachers tell her she can't be a dancer because she's too overweight, right? And in the show, she is 11 stone. And so I went to that audition, which I now this is the thing of like, do you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? So I went to this audition, and there's loads of things like this happen, loads of rejection. And I went to this audition, and my agent had said to me, it's a movement call, right? So there's things called dance call and a movement call.
Right.
A dance call is like pow, pow, pow,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Not for me, right? I could dance, but not a dancer. And then I went to this other one. She said it's a movement call. Movement call is like for actors who can move.
Okay.
Right, so it would just be like something a bit less.
What is like in between?
Like walking in time.
Okay,
you know what
okay.
I mean? Or like more face, less.
Right.
More face, less moves.
Face,
you know?
face.
Can
okay.
they sort of sell it, right?
Okay.
So I was like, right, fine, I'll go to it. Don't necessarily want to, but fine, And again, when you're first starting out in your career, you just want to do everything.
Yeah, of course.
Give everything a try, and then after a while, you're like, just no.
Yeah.
And so I went to this audition, and she basically lied, and it wasn't a movement call, it was a full flat out dance, ballet, everything.
Wow.
And the choreographer was like, get your knee pads out, and I was like, why do I need knee pads? I don't have any. I was dressed up for like sort of morning at the gym. I just had like leggings on and a top. Yeah. No makeup. Hair.
Did you wear like your bathing suit over your leggings so you look like a proper dancer or whatever?
Little Cuban heel.
Yeah.
And all of the other people there were like dressed up to the nines.
Oh my God.
Sort of little tiny little shorts on, gung, abs, big hair, false eyelashes, ready to go. Obviously, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't thrive there.
And were they all like, who is this?
Literally, and I
was
just
this trash that just rolled up.
I just felt like the absolute idiot at the back, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I was.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I wish you had done a video. That would be so good. How funny would that be to watch back?
It was mortifying. So I stood at the back. They were on like move 100. I was still on move 2. I couldn't. And also as well, like with dancing, it's like anything. It's like muscle memory.
Yeah,
so
of course.
If you've not been training that, even just holding a dance routine in your head is really difficult, right? So I was just like, and for the first time in my life, I just went, do you know what? I don't need this.
Did you leave? So
I walked up to the casting director. I said, I'm so sorry. There's been a terrible mistake. I shouldn't be here. She went, yeah. And I picked up my stuff and I left. And I rang my agent and I said, I never ever at my agent at the time. I was like, I never want to be put into that situation again where I feel awful about myself. And I really felt that at points of of pursuing acting and theatre. I felt awful about myself.
Yeah.
And it was the minute, and that's sort of the shift of when I started to do stand-up and do comedy, because I was like, for the first time in my life, I couldn't.
Finally, an ugly man's game who doesn't need movement. This is the one I can thrive in.
It was like I could be me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've never been, obviously acting, you are being somebody else. But there were some things that happened that were so personal.
Yeah.
And I know, like, in the grand scheme of life, I mean, who cares, Abby? You went to an audition and someone said this. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of like mental health.
No, but acting is very much like that. And it is constantly like the only scripts I ever got when I was like a lot bigger, I would literally get scripts and the description of to read for parts. And the description would be like, fat, disgusting woman who smells bad and looks like she smells bad, does this. And they'd be like, you're perfect for this. And I'm like, wait, what?
I know. I had
like,
one.
It's wild.
I did an advert for a restaurant company, and it was like spaghetti woman or like woman with friends, and I was chocolate cake eater. And I was.
To be fair, I play that role quite often in my own life.
And it was the most bizarre experience as well, because I went to the shoot and they were like, yeah, you're going to be the one eating the chocolate cake. So can you just sort of like laugh while you're eating it? But what we also want you to do is like have it around your mouth. And I was like, right. So they sort of like were putting like the chocolate mousse, whatever, on like here on my face.
Because I think you're such a gross, big, fat, sloppy eater.
But I turned around to them and I was like, just to let you know, I was like, I do know how to use utensils. Like, I don't.
No. You're a fat woman. You don't know how to do anything.
Slapping it on. But yeah, like it does seem to be quite, and it's. I don't think it is quite damning on the brain.
Of course it is. What I mean? And if you're constantly being put up for that, I always wonder, like, in those parts and the people who do get them and stuff, or the people who go through with them in the end, for like those, like, is there not part of you that just goes like, what the hell? Have you ever seen that show Brittany Runs a Marathon?
Yes. Yeah.
That show made me bawl.
Yeah.
It was a great movie. But it's like people who go up for that, and like the readout is like gross, sloppy girl that can't eat chocolate cake and has it all over her face. Like, what don't they get about that being so insulting and just like, perpetuating this awful thing?
I remember as well, like people used to say to me, oh my God, like the way I looked or whatever, oh my gosh, if they do Bridget Jones the musical, you are in.
Bridget Jones was not fat.
Honest, exactly.
Not that you are. Like, you're not big at all either. But like,
I used to be. That's what I'm talking.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about size here. I'm talking more about like.
But they put you in that.
How you are made to feel, not about how you look.
The fact that we were told that Jessica Simpson was obese when she was like a size 6.
This is it.
And like that Bridget Jones was like, they're like Bridget Jones was like worked in television.
She was
lived on her own. She lived in Zone 1 on her own, and she looked great. Like, and then she ended up with Hugh Grant and Colin Firth. I'd say pretty good. And everyone's like, what a loser. What a loser. It's so wild when you look back at that.
Beautiful apartment ever. Like,
it's so cool in Borough. And then like she has these 2 hot, successful men fighting over her. What a loser. Like, it is wild when you go back and see that shit or the stuff we grew up with.
Exactly.
They're just like, it just like seeps into your brain. And then you just go, like, you just associate it with all these bad things.
That's the thing. And
so if you got like a dream, if somebody like Netflix came to you and they're like, we have this amazing part, it's like totally perfect for you, but it was like a sloppy kind of unkempt woman is this, and it had all these things in it, would you not take it?
I mean,
it's Netflix.
It's Netflix.
Guaranteed 2 seasons, hit Netflix show.
I think it depends how.
Yeah, you're in the corner shoving chocolate cake all over your face. I got you, Netflix. Do it.
But that's the thing is, that's a very good question as well, because
I would do a lot of things for a TV show.
Yeah, because
FYI. Yeah. If anyone's listening, there's not a lot I wouldn't do. Let's just say that.
I don't know. I think it's like the desperation sometimes with trying to pursue the arts is. I remember like there's times where I had nothing going on, and that's the thing as well. I think it's really important that it's important to make your own work.
Yes.
And I think they don't teach you that when you're younger.
No.
To say, do you know what? Actually, if you want to go and do something, go out and do it yourself.
Yeah.
Don't wait for all these things to happen, because then you're going to have those big breaks. So that's what I was sort of learning as I was sort of like going through, and it was like sometimes you're like, what am I doing? Like when I first moved to London, I was working in a call centre during the day. I was working in a restaurant in the evening, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And then just going to like 1 or 2 auditions. I was like, I'm not really
living the dream.
Not really living the dream here.
I'm an actor.
Yeah.
I'm an actor, baby.
Yeah. But I think I remember some types of auditions that I'd get, and I'd just be so desperate to get a job.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want the job at all.
No.
In fact, the job was rubbish.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I'd be like, I couldn't even get that. Do you know what I mean?
Couldn't even get the fat cake eater job. I know what you're saying, because but then you reek of desperation, and they can smell. It's like when you're dating, if you like are so desperate for it, people are like, ugh, they don't want it, right? It's like that's why, like, when people have this energy of like, oh, I'm good, I don't even need this, they're like, now that's the person we want, who doesn't want it from us.
100%.
But it is this like weird mind game you're playing with yourself, and it's just like, so you worked in a call center. What was the call center for? I've worked in a call center too. I sold timeshares. I sold like a free weekend trip that you could get if you came to a timeshare presentation, where we would like manipulate you into a timeshare. But we sold it only to Americans. And it was really a weird thing. We were in Canada, but we sold it to Americans. And so wild that within like a 20, 30-minute phone call to a random person I had just called, I had their credit card number, their information, their birthday, all that stuff, signed up and ready to go. And it was actual timeshares and everything that they could buy into. But I was just like, I wanted to be like, are you dumb?
Don't buy it.
Don't do it. But then I was like, thank you. And then I'd be like, sale, ding, ding.
I know.
What did you do in the call center?
Oh, I did quite a bit. I worked in a call center.
Was it sketchy?
No. I worked in a call center that was for actors. Could you imagine?
So it was a suicide hotline?
Literally.
It was either a job center,
and it was the bleakest job, and the only way.
Yeah, no kidding.
The only way you could get out of.
So it was a call. What were actors calling for?
No, it's a call center. So the people who worked in the call center were actors.
Oh, I thought you meant it was a call center for like, hi, how are you? And they're like, I didn't get it. I didn't get the audition.
Cake woman again.
That's what I thought it was for. I literally thought, I'm like, is that where we've come to
like
as a people, that actors have like a helpline for when they don't get auditions?
Here, though. Let's do it.
I think that would actually be a very funny sketch. To do that, be like, hi, what can I do for you? I didn't get the audition. I wanted to eat Doritos on camera and I didn't get it. Some other lady did. I'm just like really upset. What should I do?
That just reminds me of when one of my friends went for an advert a few years ago, and it stayed with me ever since. And it was for a bread company, and he walked into the room, and there was a big cardboard cutout piece of bread with a hole in the middle, and they asked him to stay here. Sam Einer put his face in it, and then they just shouted out different condiments, and he had to make different faces as if the condiments were going on his face. And they'd be like ketchup. And he walked out and rang me, and he was like, something's gone wrong here.
But some people, I mean, it's great. Take pride in your work. I mean, I love that for you. If that's what you want and you're like, reach for the stars. I have a thing with a friend of mine. Anytime we think somebody is like not going to make it, or they're like bad at like comedy or whatever, we're just like, you know what? They're reaching for the stars. They're just trying to reach for the stars. They're just really going. So if you ever hear me saying that about you, it means
I'm not going to cry.
You're an absolute loser who should quit. But I worked with this guy.
Together, if I hear you say that.
Reach for the stars, girl. You got this.
Reach for the stars, I think.
I worked with this guy who like did all that kind of commercial work, but he was like, which is great. He got loads of money from commercial work, but he'd like be so braggy about it. He's like, yeah, I just did a pretty big Tostitos campaign. And he would be so braggy about it in a green room. And he's like, yeah, it's really hard though, because like if Doritos called me up, I'd be like, bro, I'm a Tostitos man now. I couldn't do it for you. And I was like, okay. And he goes, yeah, it's pretty good. I got some bags. But he was dead serious. And I thought, oh my God. Some people like that, I'm like, do we live in the same reality? I hope this is a simulation. I hope the owner of your player is just knocking your little person's head against the wall right now. And these are the things that are coming out of your mouth. Is this real life? And he was dead serious about how, and I mean, it's good. You're proud of what you do, but oh my God. And he was like, you like Tostitos, right? And I was like, bro.
Just pull
yes, I obviously like them, but stop it.
I did an advert for Uber Eats like in 20.
I mean, we love Uber Eats.
I know.
Who doesn't love Uber Eats or Deliveroo?
Deliveroo, yeah.
I'm a Deliveroo girl.
But I can't Deliveroo. I can't.
Oh yeah, you can't because you're you're a Tostitos Uber Eats girl. You can't knock it.
I did it.
I will deliver who is ever faster and cheaper. That's what that's where my loyalty goes to.
No. Services. Do you remember when McDonald's used to be like a cheap thing?
Yeah.
If you get delivery at McDonald's, it's like 30 quid.
Okay, yes, I ordered McDonald's last night on Uber Eats. I don't want to talk about it.
What's your order?
It's because we filmed.
What's your order?
I got home late last night. I was really hungry. Okay, I'll give you my order.
I need to hear your order.
But here's the problem. So I ordered small fries.
Right.
6 chicken nuggets.
Serious I've got. This
I know.
Is the question I ask.
This is serious. This is a good question. So small fries.
Right.
A burger, like a cheeseburger, and 6 chicken nuggets. Is that a weird order? No, usually like a bottle of water. That's my order. That's my order. No. No, girl. Okay, that's my order now. This is my order now.
Okay.
After I got half my stomach amputated in Turkey. That's my order now.
Okay, fine.
And I can't eat all of that because it's a bit too much. But before, I'd be like, okay, we're going nine chicken nuggets.
Okay.
Get a McChicken. We'll get a double cheeseburger on the side. We'll get a large fries and a chocolate shake. That's probably and an apple pie.
That's my order.
Is it?
Well, McChicken sandwich meal, large.
Yeah.
Box of nugs.
Yeah, gotta have the nuggies.
Chocolate milkshake.
But then if you're having chicken, I like having the
chaser.
As the chaser.
Yeah.
No, that was my aperitif. I like that as a little appetizer. Or like if I was going through the drive-through in Canada, because you drive everywhere in Canada when I lived there. Well, you got to have like a burger for the ride home.
Yeah.
And then you just like, oh no, I'm not that hungry, so I just got like a McChicken meal because I'm just such a little girl. But then you had like 2 double cheeseburgers on the way home. Or I have that joke that I was trying to make now, like back in the day when I was like really big, I used to order all this food for delivery and be like, guys, it's here. Everyone, party started. It's here, everyone. And there's no one else there.
I don't know why that's such a
an embarrassing thing.
And eating is around that. I did panto. Again.
Love that. Panto's such a uniquely British thing. I've never seen a panto.
Oh, they are fun.
I know. I hear they do the thing like, he's right behind you.
Just he's behind.
Oh, he's sorry. I'm such an idiot. I'll never be in a Tostitos ad. I'm so embarrassed.
I did panto back in Essex, right? And there was the choreographer, me and my mate who was in it. We were so embarrassed of our Greg's order that we used to.
What's your Greg's order?
Well, just like a big baguette and then like a couple of pastries. If I do
What's
things.
wrong with that?
Well, this is the thing. Nothing.
I actually like Greg's pizza. I think it's a perfect little size.
I love sausage, bean, cheese.
I don't love their sausage roll. I'm going to say that, which I know is what Greg's is known for. But their chicken bake or they have a little chocolate star biscuit. Love that guy.
Delish.
Or like their little slice of like cheese margarita pizza. It's great.
Love it.
It's great.
We used to eat our pastries outside before lunch.
What's wrong with that?
Bin. No, so and then
eating by the bin is peak. It's peak fat girl. Because at any time you can throw it in the bin and be like, what is this? What is this thing? I'm just hanging out of the bin. That is peak fat person to just hang up by a bin and be shoving it in your face before anyone sees you and throw out the wrapper really quickly. That's why there's so many drive-thrus. I swear to God, so many drive-thrus in Canada and stuff. They have bins by the order box, so you can throw out your previous order in there while you get your deliver. Like, oh my God, and then it just falls off a cliff because you should kill yourself.
But at least you'd be full and happy.
You'd be full and happy. Who doesn't like? I love it. Wendy's though is not as big here.
Never been.
No, Wendy's, but in Canada that's like
is
quality.
It?
Yeah. Wendy's is and Dairy Queen. Don't get me started on my fat girl faves. I could go on and on all day. We'll get too romantic. We'll have to dim the lights, light some candles, talk about my orders.
I'm smashing a double cheeseburger there.
No, but Wendy's has a spicy chicken burger. Ooh. But the thing is, it's like a chicken breast. It's not like those processing. It's like a spicy chicken breast with like tomato and lettuce. And like it's, stop, I'm salivating.
I went to Barcelona last week.
Flex.
I know, for a hen do.
The last time I was there was like a hen do wedding too. It was like, it's a lot.
They do spicy chicken nuggets at their McDonald's.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh my God, because they have McDonald's that do different stuff around the world.
Yeah, which is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah. There's in Chicago, they have the international McDonald's where you can go and order stuff from around the world in the Chicago one. And there's a woman on TikTok who goes in and is like, I'm going to go and have like the Filipino, like spicy McBean burger or whatever. And they have shaker fries in Spain too. That's what I got when I was in Spain.
Love that.
You can get like the fries and they give you a little bag and you can get like a spicy cheese sauce or whatever and shake it.
I saw that.
Hello, love that.
What I don't understand about English McDonald's.
I'm not sponsored by McDonald's, but I will be if you want.
Tostitos.
Ding.
I don't know why we don't have mayo over here in McDonald's.
Oh my God. And they call it sandwich sauce. It's such a weird thing. It's so like it's just mayo. Although in Canada we call it McChicken sauce. So the first time I was over here and I was like, can I get a McChicken sauce? And they're like, oh, what? I'm like, McChicken sauce. I'll take 5. And then the guy's like, here's some mayo, chubby. You go do whatever you want with those ones.
In the Barcelona one as well, they did a triple cheeseburger over here.
Yeah.
They did a triple chicken sandwich.
That's too much.
Not chicken.
That's too much.
No, honestly, not a chicken sandwich, like chicken savor one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was literally just tiny, same bun, tiny bun, a little bit of mayo, and then just 3 of those things, and then it was disgusting.
Yeah, I don't.
I did eat it, but
I mean, yeah, I'd eat it too. Yeah, of course I'd eat it, but like I'd be not happy with myself.
1 bite left, and I was like, not for me.
I love that. I love that when people go like, I couldn't possibly. I just, okay, you know what I can't stand, and I just need to air this grievance. There were these people visiting in town last week, and it was like this married couple. So it was like my brother was in town. He had some colleagues. It was one of their whatever, like in-law, whatever. There's a bunch of people. My brother comes into town often. It's like he has work people. They have employees over here. So we all go out for big dinners, and there's a lot of people I don't know. This one woman and her husband, it's like they couldn't do anything not together. And she'd always be like, I forget what his name is, but she'd be like, Gary, Gary, that's a lot of meat. How much meat have you had today, Gary? And then she's like, this is too much. We got to share this. We got to share. Oh my God, that's too much. That's so much. That's so big. Oh my God, these portions are huge. She's like, no, we can't. So nothing. Every time we went out for dinner, she's like, oh no. Everything is so big. We couldn't possibly eat all of that.
Gary.
So poor Gary. So they're having to share everything. But then at the end of every meal, Gary's like, does anyone have any extra potatoes or anything? So he's eating scraps off of our plates to fill up his plate.
This is why I never want to get married.
Oh my God.
This is why I don't want to get this.
The codependency was unreal.
Why are you telling me what to do?
And then she's like, oh, but I'm so tiny. Like, I couldn't possibly eat it. I'm like, well, Gary's miserable. Gary's miserable, you hag.
Gary, come on. We're going for a double cheeseburger now.
Yeah. She literally yelled at him because he had one of those, he went to Camden and had like the best time. He got too drunk with his like brother-in-law. And he had one of those Yorkshire burritos up there. She's like, but we are having a roast tomorrow. Gary, that's too much meat. That's too much meat, Gary. And she was losing it. And we were like, okay. Like, can you imagine having that be an actual fight in your marriage? Imagine having nothing to fight about because you're just rich white people. And then all you can fight about is your husband's meat intake. Fucking Gary. Honestly, SOS, Gary. Blink if you're okay.
Exactly. I'm good. I don't need. I always find that. So when you see relationships or whatever, and someone's like telling you, I'll never forget this one. Someone was telling me once how to carry a bag of kebabs up the stairs.
Sorry, wait, what? You're getting instructions on how to carry food? Like, if there's anyone who knows how to get food from point A to point B, it's the fat girl. We know how to get it safely transported from point A to point B.
But it was like, would you not just hold it like that instead of that? And I was like, why are you even wasting time telling me that?
Was it a man?
Yeah.
Of course it was.
I roll.
I
can carry my own kebabs, thank you.
How many kebabs were you having that constituted? They obviously thought you were a sloppy carrier. They thought you were gonna be a sloppy chocolate cake eating bad kebab.
What's your kebab?
I would do like chicken with like salad and like garlic and hot sauce and stuff. Like do it all, get really. But one time I went to this one shop here right after I moved here, and I was like, hot sauce, and he goes, it's really hot. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. So he's like, okay. And then he dumped so much on it, and I took a bite, and my like eyes started watering, my nose started watering. I'm like, it's great. And then I had to go outside, and I was like, fucker, and I threw it in the trash. And then I went and got McDonald's or something.
I love a kebab.
I love it
Mixed
too.
on for me.
It's just like, it's big over here. The thing that's not big over here that I miss is like cheap slice of pizza on the road. Like that's the drunk food. Do that, do we? It's like a cheap pizza slice. You can grab them for $1 or whatever. You grab a slice of pizza and it's just like going up there to a big counter with like 1 million different slices.
Yeah, anyway, we don't do that.
What a wonderful conversation this has been. I do have one question to ask you. This is the question I like to ask all my guests at the end. And I haven't prepped you on this, but you've listened to the podcast, so you might know. So what is the thing in your life, because you've gone through loads of change and like being on TV and doing all this stuff and then becoming a teacher and all this, especially in the last few years.
Yeah.
What's the one thing in your life that you hope never changes?
I've got a wicked family.
I love that.
I've got a really wicked family. And
are you the youngest, oldest?
I'm the youngest.
Yeah, me too.
Shock.
Attention-seeking youngest.
Literally.
Most comedians are the youngest.
Yeah. 100%.
And politicians and CEOs are the oldest.
Sister's just like smashed it. She's just
got
everything right. She's amazing. And then I was like, look at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been really, really grateful of my sort of close knit, like my mum and my dad and my sister and my nephew and that. And I just, that for me is something that has always been there. And I've always thought of myself as super lucky to have them. Like, they're just cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No stress. There's no issues. Just have a lovely time.
Oh, I have stress and issues in mine, but it's good. It's still good.
So I think that's the thing.
I love that.
And I would say it's nice to just think about it and take a moment about it, because I definitely do take it for granted.
Do you tell them that? Do you tell them how much you love them?
I am I'm an emotional person.
Okay,
so I will say love you like all the time.
Yeah.
But I think I've never I always say, like, you know, how great they are, but maybe I'm going to do that now.
You should play them this podcast and be
just wait till the end. You'll hear loads about burgers. And
and Tostitos. But then in the end, I love that though. I think that's really nice. My family and I are super, super tight as well, and like it's just something that people are like, oh yeah, you're close with your family, and then when they find out how we have a family group chat called the Barron Family Best Friends. Yeah. And then we have multiple group chats with like me, my brother, my sister, then me, my brother, my sister, and my brother-in-law, and then like multiple ones spread out of there, and like we're in contact every day. And if I don't pick up the phone for like one day, on my sister every morning at 6 a.m. on the way to the hospital, she'll call me and my brother, and because it's like 2 p.m. here. Yeah. and we do our morning phone call roundup of like what's happening, what's everyone doing. And if I don't pick up, there's just all these texts like, where is she? Where's she doing? She hates us now. She hates us. She's doing this.
Yeah.
So people are like, you're close, but that's very close.
Yeah, I think it's nice, and like, you know, you do see some other people, and you know, they might see it as a chore, like, oh, I've got to go and do this, that.
Yeah.
And I just think it's nice that if you've got that, then that should be celebrated.
I love that, and I love you.
I love you.
You're just the best. I love you so much. I'm so glad you were able to come down. Woo! Thank you everyone for listening. I'll tag all of your socials. Is there anything you want to plug?
I've started my own comedy night actually.
I would love to be on it. Thank you for asking.
Yes, love it. It's at the Canal Cafe Theatre in Warwick Avenue, and
Perfect.
It's once a month. It's called the Laughing Lock Comedy Club.
Okay, we'll promote
So
that.
I'll see you next month.
I love that. Yes, yeah. Seriously, and then I'll tag all your socials and put a link onto there. Thank you guys so much for joining. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching with your eyes. We love you. Okay, bye.
Bye.